I'm going to talk to you about some of the work that I've been doing in my PhD. So, childhood medulloblastoma is the most common malignant brain tumor in pediatrics, arising in the cerebellum. Isochromosome 17q is where chromosome 17 loses its short p-arm, and the rest of the chromosome is duplicated, resulting in this mirror image structure, which has two 17q arms and often two centromeres. It's the most common chromosomal abnormality in childhood medulloblastoma and is used as one of the molecular features to risk stratify patients. However, we do not understand the structure of isochromosome 17q. So using SNP array analysis, we identified a recurrent breakpoint region on chromosome 17, where 90% of patients who had an isochromosome 17q had a breakpoint within it. This region is characterized by segmental duplications, these large repeat units with really high sequence identity. Looking at a cohort of healthy individuals, we found heterogeneity in both the copy number and orientation of these repeat units. And we see this also between reference genomes. So highlighted here, in the third unit, RepA2, in T2T CHM13, is inverted compared to GRCH38. So what we have here is a hotspot region, which is highly heterogeneous between individuals, but also highly repetitive. So isochromosome 17q presents a very unique opportunity to do nanopore-only T2T assembly. And that's because when we align and phase reads across chromosome 17, we can very clearly identify the allele that belongs to the isochromosome due to this loss of the 17p arm and duplication of the rest of the chromosome. With this information, we can extract the isochromosome 17q only reads and assemble these. So this was my research aim, to do a T2T assembly of isochromosome 17q, but also the founding germline chromosome 17, to investigate both the epi and genetic structure in medulloblastoma. So I started off with frozen diagnostic medulloblastoma tissue and also frozen paired blood. From this, I extracted high molecular weight DNA and did a library prep with either the ligation or ultra-long sequencing kit. Each of these libraries was sequenced on a single PromethION Flow Cell, and then the data that was generated was put through a custom phasing pipeline, and assemblies were all done with hifiasm ONT. So for each germline and tumor DNA, two libraries were prepared. The first one was done with the Ligation Sequencing Kit, with an aim of getting a read N50 of around 30 kb and high coverage across the whole genome. However, this isn't enough to resolve the most complex of regions, and for that I needed longer read lengths. Unfortunately, when I extracted from 0.5 ml of blood, I didn't get enough DNA to do ultra-long read library prep, so therefore I had to optimize the Ligation Sequencing Kit protocol, resulting in an aligned read N50 of 51 kb. However, for the tumor, I had just enough DNA to do the ultra-long library prep, and therefore carried that out for the tumor. So using this data and the assembly pipeline, what I generated was a contig which represented half of this mirror image structure of the isochromosome, from the breakpoint through to the 17q arm. When comparing its completeness to the chromosome 17 of T2T CHM13, it showed 73% assembly completeness due to this lack of the 17p arm. Then, using single nucleotide polymorphism information from this contig, but also the wild-type chromosome 17 allele, I was able to phase the germline chromosome 17 reads and assemble these at haplotype resolution. And when comparing these to T2T CHM13, both of them showed high assembly completeness. So what this allowed me to do was to compare this segmental duplication region before and after isochromosome formation. In the germline contig, what we see is that we have these 5 repeat units in an orientation as seen in GRCH38. However, when we look in the isochromosome construct, what we have are these 2 rep B units flanked by the EPN2 gene either side in this large mirror image palindromic structure. When we look at this in base pair resolution, the only difference we see within this palindrome is a short 7 base pair insertion on one half of it. This insertion was not present in any of the germline sequencing reads, and therefore could be the point at which a double-strand break and repair has occurred. Because these were T-to-T assemblies, I was also able to compare the isochromosome 17q centromere to the germline chromosome 17 centromere. What we found here was that the sequence of the centromere was conserved between germline and tumour, but one stark difference was when we looked at the mean CpG methylation, shown in the black bar along the top. What we see in the germline is that overall mean CpG methylation is high across almost the entire centromere region, apart from the centromere dip region. However, looking at the tumour, we have almost a complete lack of CpG methylation. So our first thought here was that this could be an isochromosome-specific signature. To investigate this, I performed whole genome assembly of the germline and tumour data. Using hifiasm ONT, 46 complete centromeres were assembled across the germline and tumour. When comparing the mean CpG methylation between these centromeres, it was very apparent that this was specific to all centromeres in the tumour sample. We've since looked across a cohort of medulloblastoma patients and found that actually the CpG methylation across the centromere varies greatly between patients, and it's something that we're interested in investigating further. So hopefully what I've been able to show you is that T-to-T assembly of isochromosome 17q is possible with low inputs amounts of tissue, and that these assemblies provide a wealth of information about the epi and genetic profile of a structural variant. The sequencing, importantly, the sequencing generated here could resolve almost all centromeres, which is a region that we've never really been able to look at in medulloblastoma. However, this is only a very small snapshot of what I've been doing in my PhD. And since this sample, I've sequenced 26 other medulloblastoma samples, of which so far 8 of these have been assembled into these T-to-T constructs. The aim of this is to build towards having an isochromosome 17q reference cohort to better risk stratify patients with medulloblastoma. And with that, I'd like to give a special thanks to everyone who's been a part of this project, particularly my supervisor, Sarah Ryan, all of my funders, but especially the patients and their families who have donated samples to this project. Thank you.